Welcome to the channel. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. On today's video, I have a watch from a brand which I first discovered around a year ago. They're not a hugely popular watch brand and they don't get much publicity, or at least I don't see that much around the YouTube circuit. Now, since a year ago when I reviewed one of their models, they have greatly expanded their range and there is something for everyone as they have a fairly extensive model range which pretty much covers everything. They are called Chalet Paris. One thing you'll notice with their watches, irrespective of the type of watch, that they all share a common design language, which is what brands are all about, or they should be. Now, I recently took a look on the website and I have to say there are a few watches which look very interesting and some that I really like. Now, I have one of those with me. This is their GR Chronograph. Now, it's their take on a field watch, a traditional bicompact design, but with their unique flavor, and this is what draws me to their watches. So the GR Chronograph comes in 4 different colors, the one that I have in hand in blue, a dark green, a beige, and finally a deep brown dial. Now you get 2 options, a nylon strap which comes in at £277, or with a 5-link bracelet which comes in at £314. Now I would personally choose the bracelet version unless you are a strictly no bracelet guy, but with the bracelet version you can see you get slightly better value for money. Now specifications will be displayed on screen as well as the dimensions, so we can get straight into the final details. So the first thing I want to talk about is the movement. This is powered by the Seiko VK64 chronograph movement, which gives us that traditional bicompact layout. It also includes a date complication. So with this, the date is at the 6 o'clock, which again is the right place to put a date complication. But the reason I wanted to talk about the movement is if you are a seasoned collector or someone who has been in the watch game a while, the VK64 does get quite boring as a movement and the designs as a result of it. And you've already probably got a couple, if not at least one, in the watch box. Now, what I think is more interesting is what brands do with the rest of the watch. This is where it matters. How that brand designs a watch around the movement, because regardless of everything else, the watch is going to have the same layout, your 2 subdials and a chronograph hand in the center. And it's either going to be a field or a pilot watch. Now, with the GR Chronograph, I was drawn to the case design and the finer details over everything else. This watch really stands out amongst the masses of watches which use the VK64 chronograph movement. The case, for instance, it's like a squared circle. You've got a slim, fully brushed bezel which shows the case as being rounded, but also you've got these 4 distinguishable points around the watch case. And in particular, where the lugs sit, you get this defined line where the end links perfectly match to be a part of that rounded square case that you see. You also get quite a large visual on the dial to maintain legibility while still only being 39mm across. In fact, it comes in at 38.7. Now the case is entirely brushed apart from the polished bevel edges along the sides of the case, adding some highlights to that fully brushed case. I think this watch has a great balance between curves and straight lines, and I think this is why I was drawn to it. The faceted straight lugs right under that rounded square case really gives it a unique design which is genuinely intriguing, and it's not often a VK64 looks this good. And my favorite feature on the watch has to be the pushers and the crown, and I've said it for such a long time. When I see pushers on chronographs, I want to see some detail, something different done with the pushers in particular. Otherwise it does all look the same. Now with the GR, my wish has been granted. The pushers are slightly longer, but it's that knurling which I really like. It really gives that tool watch experience along with the contemporary and dressed up aesthetics you've got on display. They're also quite satisfying to press, the feel of a longer, wider pusher as opposed to some where they do tend to dig into your fingers if they're a little too small. Feedback wise it's the same as all the VKs. The click is there, but it's not 100% satisfying. It could do with being a little bit more prominent, but it'll do the job. Now the next bit is the knurling on the crown, but also that tiny little section just on top of the crown which has the faintest bit of polishing and then the brushing with that GR signage. This is really a case about the finer details with this watch, and it's the finer details where I find myself liking this watch more and more. Now as I said earlier, the VKs do get boring and you kind of lose interest as you progress through the hobby, and I think you need something like this which is different in design but also focuses on the details around that movement, the different aspects of the case that we see, And it actually feels refreshing to review a chronograph like this, as there is quite a bit to actually speak about. Now let's see what the GR stands for. When we turn the watch over on the polished and brushed case back, you see the words Grand Randon. Now apologies for murdering that pronunciation, and this is actually the coat of arms for Grand Randon. Now, if you don't know what that is, here is some more information about the inspiration behind this watch. Now, the Grand Randon is a series of hiking paths in France, which is where this model got its name and why it is a field watch. And I'm assuming why we have the colors we do. When you tie it all in, it does kind of make sense. Now, another thing which I felt the GF does quite well, it's the bracelet. Not only is the case quite unique, the bracelet looks really nice as well. I really do like that design. The thinner, polished central 3 links and the wider and brushed outer links. For one, you can really see that taper, which is quite emphasized, and it is very complementary to the design of the watch, and it's got the key features you want in a bracelet. You've got female end links. You also get screw-in links with a fold-over milled clasp, and the last one, you get quick release bars to make bracelet to strap changes super efficient. On the bracelet, you've got soft linear brushing, which is very consistent, and the sides are also brushed. And you've got the center links with that mirror polishing, which does separate it and really makes them shine. Then finally, the fully brushed pressed shell of the clasp with the Charlet branding, and you also get 4 micro adjustments, which is plenty. Now, I think the clasp here would have benefited by adding some highlights with polished bevels on either side, as we have seen on some of the clasps. I think it would have matched the overall watch quite well. Now overall, I am quite impressed with the case and bracelet, and now we come to the dial. Now truthfully, I am a little indifferent with chronograph dials, as the layout is going to be the same, and it's just down to designs and smaller details. With this, we have a layered dial with a mix of applied and printed features. The upper dial contains all the main features, while the one underneath has the sub-dials and the minute track. Due to that layered dial design, you get a layered date window as well. The upper dial has a wider window, and then you have the applied Arabics in solid white along with that solid white seconds hand and the sub seconds hand on the sub dial at 9. You also got the yellow accents present on the color scheme, so a total of 3 different colors on the dial, which I do think do work well. Personally, I think if they kept the hands with the white lume and the chrono hand in yellow, it might have worked a little better, but that's my preference. The dial color is slightly layered too, so when you look at the watch head straight on, it looks to match quite well, but under different lighting conditions or when the watch is turned slightly, you get 2 slightly different shades of blue, which highlights that layered dial design. I do think that works quite well, as it separates the dial with a subtle shade difference. And I also like that deep blue they've got on the upper dial. It's a really nice shade of blue and it looks quite classical. Now the watch is also lumed, but this is where I am quite disappointed with the watch. The lume is only applied to the hands and those 4 outer points, which doesn't really make sense. When you look at this watch, and because of those 3D applied Arabics, you would assume they would be lumed, and I think it's a mistake to not lume them and make the lume somewhat special on this. The current state looks quite poor, and it does let the watch down overall. I know you're not going to see the lume as much, but we all know how much we love to post a good lume shot on the respective Facebook groups we're a part of. And they should have given us something which looked cool and showed off some of the dial features. Now on wrist, how does the GR chronograph look? I really like it. It's going to fit really well. The 39mm diameter plus the 45mm lug to lug and that 12mm thickness is going to suit a lot of wrist sizes and body types. The watch case and bracelet are very eye-catching and they stand out on wrist really well, and for the right reasons. It looks like a high-end chronograph, and the bracelet and case combination is awesome. The center links give you some bling and works well with the subtle polish highlights present on the case, and that blue dial makes it very easy on the eyes. Legibility is good and it's a perfect daily wear. Now you can wear it with almost anything. It's also quite a versatile design. You can make it very sporty via a simple strap change, and if you pair it with the right strap, it can transform the watch and make it suitable for most situations and occasions. So that's it from me today. Those are my full thoughts on the GR Chronograph by Charlet Paris. What do you guys think of it? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.